From then to now, the radio has a lot of interference now that wasn't there during design based on other additions of other radio and telemetry systems around town since then. So what we originally planned on, there was so much interference we couldn't make anything work. So with Andrew's help, we looked at changing some of the equipment on that radio system to make it work. So we have tested it, it works flawlessly, and the new system that Andrew helped us pick out, it's not susceptible to the interference that the initial radios that we designed on were. So that fix came to the total of $16,201, and that was one of the larger items of this change order. RFP number 080 for additional gates in our equalization basins. In the initial design, we had a fence going around these existing tanks, and gates were failed to be designed into that system for us to get to the sensors that measure the level. So we needed to add some gates in for maintenance crews to be able to get to those points. So adding in those gates was a total of $4,333. RFP 081, this is one that I'm hoping will pay for itself. As we negotiate with Republic Services on future landfill leachate treatment, we had another landfill from outside of town reach out and ask us if we'd be interested in possibly treating a low volume of leachate in addition. So what we didn't plan on in this project was trucking leachate in much longer than it takes for the landfill to tie into our existing force main. So now that we've got some interest from other communities, we decided that it'd be beneficial to add a manhole structure out there that would allow us to accept semi-haulers to dispose of it, and us to be able to route it into our new equalization basins to protect the treatment plant in case it's a high strength. So I anticipate this manhole basin, if everything goes well, will be actually active next calendar year. So to add that in, it costed $16,544. RFP 082, blast and paint effluent pumps. That was a miss in the original design. They got overlooked. There was existing 35-year-old pumps, and the structure around it needed some sandblasting and painting. So we added that in. Total of $8,306. RFP 083, primary clarifier effluent hatch. We had an automatic valve going into a structure below grade, and there was no way of getting that valve in and out when it came time for repair, so we had to add a hatch into the concrete to allow us to install it and remove it. That hatch total was $1,451. RFP 084 was replacing an exhaust fan in building O. Again, another oversight in design. Every other exhaust fan in the facility was replaced except that one. Just a simple miss. So we went ahead and moved forward to replace that at $2,381. RFP 085, primary clarifier effluent pump station hatches. That was actually a credit. Initially in the design, we planned on replacing hatches, assuming the new pumps would be too big to fit through the existing ones. However, they were able to fit, so we were able to cancel an order on those hatches. So we received a credit of $2,648 that would help offset this change order. RFP 086, Route 23 force main connection modification. That one, part of our project in this was taking our Route 23 force main that runs out to the landfill. It becomes gravity right at Interlake Drive, and the trickling filters, if you remember the two tanks that had the arms that went round and round, we're converting those to equalization. So if and when landfill does connect to that pipe, we want to divert leachate to those tanks to slowly equalize it over a 24-hour period, should it be high strength. And the initial design, we didn't have valves in that. It was going to be change the direction of the force main, and that was it. And we realize now that if we are still a ways away from getting them tied on, that we want the option to be able to valve it to whether we still go gravity or we go to equalization. So we added a valve in there. That total was $2,008. And the final RFP in this change order, 087, Building J HVAC modifications. This one's going to be a two-part. Part of it's in this one, and there'll be one more change order before the project's complete, and there'll be another part of that project in this. We repurposed a smaller building for 2 compressors for our aeration system mixing, and those compressors generate a lot more heat than anyone anticipated. And the size of the building with those compressors in, we can't really keep that building or those compressors cool enough, so we had to drastically upgrade the air exchange and ventilation system in that small building to allow those compressors to run and not trip out. So the HVAC modifications of that change are $18,157. The future cost will include, we have to remove some block and brick and remove some electrical and move some of that around, so that will be in the final change order. However, this would be the biggest cost of rectifying that issue would be on this one. So those 9 items bring us to a total of $69,082. That brings our total amount we've used on change orders to $690,637, which is 62.3% of our contingency. So we're at 96% complete, and we're at 62% of our contingency funds. Our remaining balance is $417,863 of our contingency, which I think it's safe to say that we'll definitely have funds left over being this far along in the project. I would recommend we accept the change order request in the amount of $69,082.
Any other questions for Jay?
You say you're 96% complete. Will that be finished this calendar year?
Yes. December 31st is the official substantial completion date, and we're 2 weeks away from being fully operational as far as all our processes goes. And after that, it's just some automation, roads, and general site restoration. The job trailers, the contractor job trailers, are actually removed today and tomorrow. So they're actually moving out this week because the workload is to a point now that they're wrapping up.
Winter weather then wouldn't have any effect on you.
The only thing the weather will have effect on is grass and seeding. And when the previous change order was a contract extension, and we extended that to June of next spring to allow the general contractor to come back in spring and ensure that seeding and grass takes place and any site restoration damage through the winter. It's safe to say it'll probably still be a little muddy through the winter. Roads will help.
Any other comments for Jake? If not, we need a motion to approve this. Motion by Frank Giovanni, seconded by Brian Gaber. Roll call, please.
Hicks,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Gaber,
Yes.
Willie,
Yes.
Giovanini,
Yes.
Eckhoff,
Yes.
Lee.
Yes.
Thank you, Council.
Thanks, Jake. Keep up the good work. And now Chief Davis has an update for us on our K-9 situation.
Good evening, Council. As many of you know, our police dog is about 10 years old. The current canine handler, Alan Dorn, and I had begun talking about an upcoming replacement, likely in the spring or summer of 2023. Just 3 weeks ago, the Bloomington Police Department reached out regarding one of their canines that recently graduated with a handler from the Canine Academy, a 10-week academy in Springfield at the Illinois State Police. This handler sustained an injury, as noted in your packet, and he's going to be out of service for a while, so it was Bloomington's decision to reach out to a Central Illinois agency who may be in need of a canine and offer it for sale. Some limited homework into prices for this age of a police-trained dog range between $12,500 and $20,000, but they said they were open to any reasonable offers. In the meantime, I spoke with State's Attorney Randy Yednak, who graciously pledged $5,000 towards the purchase of a canine, And as it was somewhat of a time-sensitive issue, I made a contingent offer to the Bloomington Police Department for $10,000, the contingency being council approval. They understood the need and the process and accepted it. In the meantime, I've received all health paperwork, a purchase agreement that I've sent to Mr. Schrock, and Bloomington's idea, actually, we are currently in possession of the K-9 because they said it would be better to start getting to know a handler, and then we would work with it if, in case the purchase didn't go through. But basically, any questions? Different handler. So, Sergeant Dorn was a very good handler, but he said it's time for somebody else to get to enjoy that. It's a Dutch Shepherd, and he's, I think he turns 2 in December, just under 2 years old.
Sounds like a deal.
It was a very opportune time and a very good price, and with the donation, it would be very difficult to turn down.
Fantastic opportunity for the department, especially with the dog retiring and the 5,000 that we would put in. The police department has still in new equipment budget, so they have plenty to cover that. There'll be still some costs of training the handler with him, but we were going to be doing that at some point anyway. And to get a dog that we already know can pass certification tests is a pretty good deal, and for that price. I know years ago when I had the dog, I think we were in the $15,000 range. Over 20 by the time we were done with everything.
That was not $20,022 either. That was not in $22.
Correct.
It was
Yes.
15
Right.
years ago.
We have a motion?
I move to support the purchase of the police K-9.
I second.
Motion by John Willie, seconded by Jason. Roll call, please.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Gaber.
Yes.
Willie,
Yes.
Giovanini,
Yes.
Eckhoff.
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief. Now we're back to insurance again. Airport insurance renewal. Jim?
Yeah, fascinating subject. Talk about airport insurance. Old Republic has been our insurance carrier in the past, and it was time for our renewal. They indicated to me, being that this is the first time I've asked for renewal, that the rate is the same as that it had been in the past, and this Old Republic policy represents a similar policy to what we've had in the past. So just asking that we make that renewal.
I motion acceptance of that.
Second.
Great.
Okay, motion by Kelly, seconded by Jamie. Bradshaw? Roll call, please.
Clark,
Yes.
Gaber,
Yes.
Willie,
Yes.
Giovanini,
Yes.
Eckhoff.
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Bradshaw.
Yes.
Moving on. We don't have any action on
No, just information for the
Okay.
council.
this. All right. Well, let's keep moving then. On mayor's comments, tomorrow is the election day. I want to remind everybody to vote. Vote early.
And often.
I can't say often anymore, so we'll vote early. And there's a lot going on in November, as you all know. Liz probably has 18 pages of things we could talk about tonight, but we will be having the light up parade and tree lighting. And at some point in time, the skating rink will go up, although it will not probably open until closer to the end of December, but we'll see how the weather treats us. Just a lot of things coming up, and we're looking forward to nice late fall, I guess, this is the way I'd like to see it, weather-wise. City council comments. Hearing none. I would comment that Bill Callis was going to be having a procedure today, and it didn't happen, but he's doing well. Should be no complications. Be back with us shortly. City administrator.
I have a few things. Fall Fest was a big success out there, and Taylor, if you got a couple words you want to say about, I know one of the things that I heard was people were complaining that they were starting to step out onto 116. So there was a lot of people coming there. So that's a great problem that we have, that there's so many people interested in being a part of that community.
Yeah, that was really the only complaint I got too. And leaving, I want to thank Chief Davis and his staff. They did an excellent job helping everybody, because it seemed like everybody came in at one time and then everybody left at the same time. So it was there's some modifications that we have to do in order for next year. But overall, the space was great. I think the facility that we have there, and just all the other amenities, it was worked out really, really well. So. People said that there was more people there for Fall Fest than there was for Independence Day, so it was a huge turnout, and a lot of interdepartmental cooperation with this one. So Jake brought over the light for at night, so there was some working there, and then with Chris and his crew, they helped out too. So a lot of different departments helped out to make this. We appreciate it.
We did last Friday, we did an inspection on the building we acquired over on Madison Street. So we'll have some ideas coming up. The main goal, that front, if you remember, that's the one by Kurt Myers, just east of him, and is leaning a little bit. So we had an engineer take a look at it to see. Looks like we'll probably have to take some brick down and do some reworking of that building, but thought I'd just give you a quick update on that. In the packet, there were those planning and zoning. That was just information. Next Monday is the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting to discuss those two items. One is the special use permit for the cannabis dispensary, and then the other is a solar lease option for ESP. And that would be their third.
Yeah, this would be to approve a special use permit for Site 2A, 2B, which you just approved an option for the last meeting. And it basically is already approved once by the city as two standalone 2A, 2B as separate potential development. But this would approve it in one combined, and it changed the footprint just slightly. But it's the portion of the airport farm that lies north of I-55.
We'll have a need for a committee of the whole to go over the second quarter financials. Date that works the best. Well, your leisure. That was end of October was. Actually, it was the end of September was the end of the first half, so I can be ready whenever.
Thinking next week.
Next week, I think, would be a good.
I'm out all next week, but I don't have to be there, so.
Well, we would much prefer you being there, but that's, anybody have any specific problems?
I will be leaving the 16th, so I'll be gone for about 10 days.
16th?
16th next week, yeah.
Okay.
The
It
Wednesday.
was Tuesday. Looked like Tuesday's the 15th.
Yeah, that works fine.
Okay. Have problems with Tuesday? What's a good time? Okay. Say 4:30, or you want to go push it to 5?
We push it to 5. I'll be
5?
in court all day.
Yep. Tuesday at 5? Fine, send a reminder. And last thing I have is, at the beginning of the meeting, we heard from Caleb, and Caleb and I have been talking pretty regularly about goings on out there, and they've been pretty gracious to community groups that have been wanting to use that property. But we've been talking, if you recall, there is a business district tax out there of 1% added on there, and so we've been talking about that. Our business district requires that we enter into negotiations and then have an agreement, and we've been working through some of those things, and at some point we'll be coming back to talk about an agreement with Monami to release some of that business district to funds to help them recoup some costs that they're doing on the building. So when that time comes, we'll raise that back with the council.
What's the status on the Rathbun building? Is
So
that coming up?
the option is at the end of the year, and so yeah, decision will need to be made here soon, and I think maybe next week we probably should start talking about that and what the desires of the council are going to be.
I see they're missing a plate glass window.
Now, I've had some talks with the realtor, and he's had a couple of potentials that we're interested in, but lately I haven't heard on how far any of those have gone. So
Still looking into all possibilities, as it were.
I just thought it was coming up toward the end of the year. It does.
Coming up quickly. Moving along, public comments. Anybody want to venture a phrase or two? Hearing none, I think we would consider the meeting adjourned, or over, with the adjournment by Maggie and by Jamie. We are adjourned.